Hey champions, it's Wednesday, so that means we have another sideline strategy, or in other words, an expert quick tip to share with you all. And this week, Savannah Warmington, Customer Success Solutions Architect, is back yet again, but this time she's here to talk us through field configure recommendations to ensure data integrity and visibility. So, Savannah, welcome back. Thanks for being here again.
Yeah, of course. Thanks so much, Brenya. Excited to be here, excited to talk through field configuration between SalesLoft and your CRM, and just kind of high level overview of some recommended fields we like to see map just to make sure data is syncing properly, all fields you need from your CRM and SalesLoft, data from SalesLoft is in your CRM. And so we'll walk through that today. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen. And I've pulled up here right in field configuration. So all I've done really is just gone into your settings here and then over into object and field configuration. So as like a high level overview, when it comes to mapping fields between your CRM and SalesLoft, there are four different objects that we sync bidirectionally with. And it depends a little bit on the CRM that you're using. So I'll highlight those differences as we go through. So I'm going to start first with your person field configuration and go from there. And your person field configuration here is where SalesLoft can sync any data with your leads and or contacts in your CRM, depending again on which CRM you're using. If you're just using contacts or leads, all of that is coming here and mapping over to people in SalesLoft. One of the big things I like to mention here is that when you first connect SalesLoft to your CRM, we do have an mapping mechanism that comes into place and automatically maps a lot of standard fields over from your CRM, such as things like company, email, first name, last name, a lot of those standard data fields. What you'll notice with those auto mapping is that they do map over unidirectionally to start. So all data is starting in your CRM and syncing to SalesLoft one way. However, I do recommend to review those. So a big benefit of our field configuration and the bidirectional sync with a few of these objects is that it allows users to remain in SalesLoft and make quick updates to fields to allow that to sync to your CRM and vice versa. So with things like email, first name, last name that are easy to update, I would recommend to come in and you can decide if you want that bidirectional. So it's quick and easy to do. You just come in, edit the field. That will pull up a new screen where you can change this direction, where I've already set it to bidirectional here, but you have all three options that you can change, which is great. Outside of that, I wanted to walk through some other recommended fields. So one big field I like to look into is your account CRM ID. This typically is mapped for your contacts from your CRM, but can also be mapped for leads if applicable, if you do link leads to accounts in your CRM. But this is really important as it is how SalesLoft knows which account your contacts are linked to in your CRM. So we're essentially looking for the account ID so we can reference that ID and know which account to link your people to in SalesLoft as well. So that's a big one to look for. Another few that I like to look into is going to be your contact restrictions. So these do not call, contact, email, message fields. These are really important to provide visibility in both your CRM and SalesLoft on who may have a contact restriction, who's opting out of emails, things like that. So for example, in SalesLoft, if you send an email with a SalesLoft opt-out link and a user or a person clicks that, they will automatically be updated to do not contact. So mapping that field to your CRM is really important to provide visibility on your CRM to know who is opting out of emails. And then vice versa, if you have any sort of flows or processes in your CRM, updating an email opt-out field on that side or anything like that, mapping that to SalesLoft will also provide visibility and make sure that both systems are up to date across the board. Further down from there, we have some SalesLoft specific fields that are these most recent cadence fields here. So depending on your CRM, so with Salesforce, we have an Insights from SalesLoft dashboard package. With Dynamics, we have a managed solution. And then HubSpot, we don't have a package to install, but all of these fields are available to map for all three integrations to where this is great to see where people are at on a cadence. So mapping these to Salesforce provides that visibility of when a person is added to a cadence, what cadence are they on, when's their due date. And as they move through the cadence and get removed, these fields automatically update, and mapping them to your CRM allows you to report on that data, which is great. So with the Insights dashboard, three of them are automatically included for both leads and contacts. but you can manually create the rest and provide visibility across the board. And then lastly, for people, the last one I wanted to call out here is the owner CRM ID. So this is how we can pull over the lead and contact owner directly from your CRM to know who the CRM owner is for your records, align the SalesLoft owner accordingly, and everything like that. So making sure this is mapped is important. It will be mapped to the standard lead or contact owner field, but this can be mapped to a custom field if interested. It just does have to be a user lookup field. But that's the main ones I wanted to call out for people. We'll move on to accounts here. Similar to people, we have some standard fields that will be mapped over with the auto mapping feature unidirectionally. So just a few things to call out here. So the two important fields to make sure are mapped overall are both domain and name. These are both required in order for accounts to be created in SalesLoft. So ensuring those are mapped is big. And then domain is our unique identifier for accounts. So with our Insights dashboard in Salesforce, we have a SalesLoft domain formula field we recommend to map. This ensures that the domain is always populated and always unique. And so you'll just want to make sure for all three integrations, Salesforce, Dynamics, and HubSpot, that you'll have this field mapped to a field in Salesforce that is always populated and always unique for this domain. Moving on from those, we also have the owner CRM ID on the account level. So again, this pulls over the CRM owner for accounts, making sure we have that visibility in SalesLoft to align SalesLoft ownership accordingly. Again, this is mapped to a standard owner field, but can be mapped to a custom field. That does have to be a reference user lookup field in your CRM. And then lastly here is user relationship. So if you have any additional owner fields for accounts like your customer success manager, renewals manager, whatever it may be, mapping user relationship fields is a great feature here. This is specific to Salesforce, but it just provides a little bit more visibility into some of those account teams and other owners that you have in your CRM. Moving over to activity fields. So this is going to be specific to Salesforce and Dynamics when it comes to activity field mapping, but lots of great opportunity here. And this is a unidirectional sync from SalesLoft to your CRM and provides visibility in your CRM on these activity fields here for reporting. So within Salesforce, with our Insights dashboard package, we have 8 fields that are included to map to. You'll see them all start with this SalesLoft one. So it gives insight into things like cadence name, call disposition and sentiment, clicked count, open count, template title, things like that. And additionally, there's a lot of other fields that you can map that we recommend. Meeting booked by is a big one. If you have users booking meetings on behalf of other users in SalesLoft, this lets you know who is that user booking that meeting to sync to your CRM. Same thing with like meeting type. Meeting type gives you visibility into what types of meetings are being booked if you're using that in SalesLoft. So this is something we'd recommend to look through for additional reporting in Salesforce for activities and Dynamics. And then lastly, for opportunities, this one's fairly straightforward. This is a unidirectional sync from your CRM to SalesLoft. So it's really here to just provide visibility in SalesLoft on your opportunities. So all of these fields will be mapped by default unidirectionally. And they are stuck to these fields. However, you can adjust the amount field. So coming in here, you can edit which field we're mapped to for amount if you are using a custom amount field in your CRM. And then of course you can map any sort of custom fields as well. They will all sync unidirectionally. So hopefully this is helpful and lots of insight into some of the recommended fields we like for field configuration. If you have any questions about fields you're looking to map or the fields that I've called out, let us know below and we'd be happy to help with this.
Great. Savannah, thank you for going through all those recommendations. We love having you here and sharing your expertise. So thank you. And champions, thanks again for joining us this week. If you have questions for Savannah, please let us know in the comments. And otherwise, that's it. We'll see you all next week. Thanks, everyone.